So here I'm prepping the pipe for the toilet. You see 2x4s right by the flange. We're installing one-piece toilets, so they're a little bit heavier than a typical toilet. So I had to figure out a way to put them on there without, two people can't even get in there. So you see the bolts in the flange. Here's me going to take the toilet and just put it on there, and I'm going to lower it one 2x4 at a time so the bolts go through the connection points where they're supposed to. These are wax inside a rubber flange seal thing, and you have to kind of squish them down a little bit so the wax does come out of them at the bottom side. They're slightly bit taller than a normal wax ring only, so you saw me widgeting it. And then of course when you tighten it down, I put a couple of wedges on the back side of the toilet to level it out. The floor is not 100% level, but it's mostly level. Just took a little bit, and then once it didn't rock, we're good to go. Put on the water line, and we had running toilets by the end of the day, so all three were installed. Pretty easy to do. The toilets are real nice. They're double flush. One's for number one, one's for number two, so less water usage, etc. But very straightforward to put in. Just a little more difficulty in just lifting it up by myself and access, right? So all the toilets they're in kind of like tight spots, so it was what it was. But overall pretty easy. So I'm getting ready to install the middle shared toilet. I had to clean up the flange a little bit, and there's I think I already broke out there's a plastic cover that you hammer out while you're constructing so you don't get junk down in the pipes. But anyway, put the quarter turn valves on there. I actually got those off of Amazon. I didn't like what I saw like at Home Depot or something, so I picked a little better quality, I think, off there. But again, you see my 2x4 setup, and then I just wiggle it into place for the bolts to secure themselves, and then you have to squish the wax down and make it work. A couple of shims, and we're ready to rock. So all in all, pretty quick, right? Not a big deal. The fun part was trying to get the right size wrenches in the area so I could tighten the toilet down, but we managed to find them, and everything's working. Yay! So on to the last one. This is the what we call the apartment, the spare room area. I set this one up, and then I actually had to take the toilet off the bolts so I can get to the valve. What was funny, I actually forgot to put the valve on, and then I couldn't get in there very easily, so I had to move it off and redo that. I do have to say one more thing. The bolts that came with this toilet, actually all of them, were metal, not coated, no bronze, no stainless steel, nothing, and they were already rusted before we even installed them. So I used the bolts off of the flange kit. A bit of a peeve of mine, but anyway, you don't want to use just raw steel anything for the toilet. It does a little bit of moisture, so whatever. So a huge day for us. The Spicewood Cabinet guys showed up, Derrek, Luc, and Ryan, and they installed the base cabinets. We had half of the cabinets were in the garage. You might have seen those in the other videos, but anyway, they came in and decided to install the base cabinets, which is fantastic. They were done within about 3 hours or something or other, leveled everything out, got it ready, and then next is our job to get the granite guy out and get him to measure things up and install the granite. He's got 4 slabs of granite to work with, so hopefully he'll do it fairly quickly. Our master bath is going to be the challenge, but anyway, so here we're centering the island on we have 3 lights, pendant lights that are going to go in there, and we centered the middle of the cabinet on that. There's Derrek. He's cutting the holes for the plumbing, and I'm wasting his time talking to him. But anyway, he's a car guy, friend of mine, so everything worked out. The cabinets look fantastic. They're a white oak with a special cut. I can't remember what the cut's called, but very smooth grain, no knots. And we're gonna do, as he recommended, a single coat application for sealing it. That's called Rubio Monocoat. It's very expensive stuff, but we actually try some later on. We'll show you that, and it's pretty neat. It's a lot easier than staining and doing poly or something like that. Anyway, just see those guys. They drilled holes in this is the island, and now they're installing this is where we're going to have a microwave, so that cabinet goes up. up top. Granite goes on the base cabinet there as well, but they install it anyway. And then this is the for the fridge cabinet. So everything's working out pretty nice. We really like the wood. We just have to wait for the granite before we do anything else. We may end up, if I get the Rubio monocoat, we'll end up doing that before they install the granite. So after the cabinet guys left, we decided to install the freestanding tub in the master. It was pretty straightforward. I just put the drain on there. There's a pipe extension that goes onto freestanding tubs. You see it right there on the floor. That all goes together, screws in there. I actually thought this was going to be harder, but it turned out to be pretty easy. It's not very heavy. It's a some kind of a resin-based tub. And we just basically shoved the extension into a special flange that comes for those tubs. Throw the tub on there and we're done. And here we're installing the faucet. Very straightforward. Everything went very, very smoothly. So I'm not going to argue with that. And then when turn the water on, we only have cold water going through the system right now. I don't have the tankless hot water stuff hooked up. Plus we don't have any propane at this point. So we're going to do a quick test, fill a couple of gallons of water in there, let it sit there and then drain it. Everything worked, and then I'm going to do the final touch with the overflow.
Hey guys, Vita here in Blueberry Hills. So this is July 17th. Kind of a slow few days. We've been doing little odds and ends. Yesterday I went and picked up the MDF baseboards that we ordered from Home Depot. They took 2 weeks to get in. And I haven't ordered any doors yet or anything, so I have to do those first and do the casings around there and everything else. But let me do a quick walkthrough in the current state of the house. Electrical's done, toilets are in, bathtub's in, etc. You've seen that on the time lapse. What we're doing today, Jake's coming over and we're gonna put thresholds in the doors, or actually in the door area, and then weather stripping under the door. And we have to take the doors off. They're quite heavy. Angie and I would struggle. You might have seen videos way back when we were trying to put one door up. We did it, but it was pretty hard. But anyway, so Jake's coming, help me with that. All we're gonna do is take the doors off. I only have a couple of screws holding the hinges in place. So pop those off. Cut a couple of lines in the bottom of the door. I have to trim the door a tiny bit. I was hoping I didn't have to do that, but I do. So both front door and the side door are gonna get trimmed. The garage door is fine. I still have to build kind of a step up for the threshold to be put to the ground, and we're going to use concrete screws and adhesive to put the threshold in place, and then we'll be weather stripped in. We have to paint the door jambs black just for a door theme. All our windows and doors are black for the outside doors and windows, of course. And once we do the paint, then we can snap in the weather strip and the house will be sealed, and we're ready to fire up the AC. Whoa. Fantastic. It's been fairly hot. It's been hitting about 101 last couple of days, 102 maybe. But a couple of weeks before that it was in 106, 105, so very warm. Anyway, let me flip the camera around and we'll do a quick walkthrough. So this is our bedroom. We've got all the electrical, you can see it done. The windows are finished in here. I painted, caulked, and painted all the windows. Still have to do a few windows here. Paint touch-up, we've been doing other stuff, not that. But here's the cool part. We have the base cabinets are in. I'm waiting on some sample Rubio monocoat that we're going to put on. The doors still have to be adjusted, etc. The granite guy came by Friday to measure everything up. The tubs in place, etc. This is going to be all granite. The guy was really happy about that because we have 1 1/4 or 1 1/2 inch granite slabs, and he says they are very heavy, but he said he's going to do it. But anyway, so here we are. Tankless hot water heaters in. I still have to do touch up on the top there. You can see how much stuff I had to bust out to get that stupid pipe in place, and I have to fix a PEX line in there. I'm waiting on what they call a mudring or an extension for the outlet box. That is foamed in place. We've got some wood. We're going to put a box around that, of course. Simple. And I do have to order the pocket doors probably this week. So here's all the cabinets. This is our utility room. Some floating shelves above the washer. Pretty neat. And there's our sample baseboard. It's actually gray. We just painted it. Angie and I painted it. I think we have 115 of those, and we sprayed them with the airless. There's another sample against the wall. But anyway, we're getting ready to put the baseboards in areas where I don't need doors. Graphic stuff. And mainly, I'm showing you guys the cabinets and stuff. They look fantastic. Love the wood grain. And by the end of today, I believe we're gonna get the monocoat, Rubio monocoat stuff, and we'll show you what flavor that's gonna turn the wood. But it feels really good in here right now. I've been having all the windows closed, and that's actually helping out keeping the place nice and cool. So here we go. So we've got all the cabinets, lights, everything's working. I did do some more hardy board. The guys are a little reluctant to go straight down. You're not supposed to put it right on where it's going to be wet. That's not going to be wet for long. It's got a very good slope to the drain. So, once we put tile and all that stuff in this area, this is not going to be a problem. I had to do this whole wall. I had to buy 2 more sheets to do that. But in any case, it wasn't hard. It's not fun playing with that stuff. But using those funky screws. I did the same thing here as well. You can see the bottoms. And it doesn't matter if it's not perfectly tight. There'll be some mortar in there and stuff. And this is a cool part. Look at that kitchen. So here's the island. It's fairly large. We've got a nice big wide space here. Of course, fridge. We have the cabinets go here are sitting on the ground over there. The granite guy has to come in and install those first, and then Derrek's going to come by with his guys and finish the uppers and then the detail work. So here I'm getting ready to cut the thresholds up. I bought interlocking thresholds. Not an entire fan on how they make you put it together, so I bought the rubberized versions, which Jake and I are going to put at the bottom of the door. You see these curves? You basically just cut the bottom of the door, snap it in place, and you're done. I'll probably do a screw or 2 in there as well, just to make sure they don't go anywhere. But it's nice aluminum. It's bronze, dirty, and then we put these little trim pieces down there. These are supposed to be interlocking. If you see the little C-channel, it was supposed to go like this on the bottom of the door. The bad part is they want you to use tiny little nails to hold that in place, and I'm not buying it. So I'm gonna do my own gig, and we'll call it good. Anyway, that's that. All the that area's finished. We got the fancy schmancy lights. Yay! Pretty neat. These are supposed to be warm lights. We're waiting on new bulbs from the manufacturer. They went oops and are sending us a set of new bulbs. They're all LED, of course, and they're going to be in the 3,000 to 4,000 K range. Here's the upstairs all done. I still have to do network, TV, and coax, but speakers. Don't have the speakers yet, but that's there's wires in there for speaker control down from the living room. That's network for Wi-Fi. That's plug-in network for TV, etc. But anyway, it's done up here. Got the thermostat ready to roll, and can't wait. Once we get the thresholds on the doors, that's going to make a world of difference, because we can then basically close the windows and turn the AC on, and it should be really nice in here. We've almost never closed this door, just to let it breeze through, and that's about it. So anyway, that's a quick walkthrough. Things are coming along, getting done. Next on right now, all we're doing is thresholds today, and then later on we're going to be doing some baseboard work. I'm not sure if we're going to get to that today or not. Wasn't planning on it really, but anyway, you see all the baseboards all primed, ready to go. Well, they come primed. It's an MDF, and they kind of wrap. It's almost like a primer plastic. You can see it around. It's all 4 sides, so I think they're pretty much waterproof. Which, MDF's not the best with water. Not that we're gonna have an issue with water, but Anyway, we're getting this done. This is about 3/5 of the pile that we primed or painted yesterday, and then we'll be installing it.
So it's threshold time. So here I am. I'm notching the jamb a little bit to receive the aluminum threshold, and there's a front and back to it, of course, inside and outside. And I'm just notching with my little oscillating saw, and it's working pretty good. This turned out to be harder than I wanted it to be. Plus, I'm trying to get liquid nails underneath the threshold, and that's going to be difficult if I make it super tight. So on the front door, I do something different. I actually cut the aluminum and fit the threshold from the top down. That way I could put all kinds of goop on it, and we use the screws and make everything hold good. So I end up notching this, making the threshold fit real good. And then I start drilling the holes in a little bit into the concrete itself. The fun part is trying to get the bits to work. I don't have a hammer drill at this point. I ended up getting one a day or two later because I had failed using a normal drill into the threshold for the garage. The bits didn't go in at all. But anyway, a hammer drill does the trick into concrete, so we'll use that. Here you see me just using a normal drill. It worked for the most part, and I got deep enough to have the screw set. So here we are, we're going to test fit and start getting it ready for when Jake gets here. We're going to have to take the doors off the hinges, so I can set put the rubber threshold seals on it, and we'll call it good. So right now we just put the threshold in and wait. So I start working on the front door. Basically just a wider, so it has 4 screw holes, and instead of cutting the jamb, I actually cut the aluminum threshold with my just cut off wheel. I don't think I used a grinder on this part, but anyway, so the aluminum, you just cut that off, make sure it's nice and tight instead of loose in there. Once I finish that up, then I'm going to pre-drill the holes, and we'll be good to go. The way I actually set the screws into the, I'm not sure I show that, but I do use 5-minute epoxy, which I'll get. I don't think I get it this day. I get it the next day, and that's just so I can drill holes for the screws to actually anchor into the concrete. I bought anchoring bolts. I tried using the drill bit that came with that. I broke the bit in 2 seconds, and thereby taking those anchors back to Home Depot and just using the old epoxy method, and that worked really good. So yeah, Jake showed up so we could actually start doing the weather strip on the door. We support the doors on cardboard on the bottom. We basically undid the hinges. We're kind of, I said let's do it in the hallway, but it was pretty tight in there. It was a pain in the butt. And I basically, a bit of a failure on the doors in my opinion. I put iron on or heat sensitive veneer on the outside, and it didn't stick to the laminate that I used on the doors at all. It stuck to the wood, but not the laminate part. So we decided to take it off, and we're just gonna, it's actually nice, it's got maple on the edges, and I did that for a little more secure for the hinges, but it's smooth, so we're gonna take all the glue off, and I'm just gonna paint that. Here I'm doing, you can see I'm doing scribe lines for the curves for the weather strip. So pretty straightforward. Just cut a hole or cut a line about a 1/2 inch deep. Shove the weather strip on there. I do prime it. I actually paint it. I wait for it to dry a little bit, and then we'll put the kerf weather stripping in there in a little bit. I think it was probably like 102, 103 out that day, so it was pretty warm, so the paint dried really quick. Jake's working on the top part, trying to get all the glue and junk off, and he's gonna paint that up, and I'll paint the edges of the doors later. We're just trying to get the house to kind of seal up. And here you see me using a couple of small pieces. These curved weather strip, I couldn't find it any wider than 36 inches, so we used the cutoffs that we did from the side door. And I'm not sure why I don't have any video from the side door. I think the video just didn't take, so sorry about that. But anyway, we're putting the door back in. With Jake's help, wasn't a big deal. Basically, we just set it where it's supposed to be. Already pre-drilled holes. Just set them up, move it, and we're done. So the weather strip is on the bottom of the door. The next day, I'll come back and actually glue the threshold itself down, and we'll call it good. So I already put epoxy into the holes. You can see tape across the front where I didn't want any glue. And I actually, this is I believe a test fit. I drill the holes for the screws themselves, get ready for the install of that. And I get the, that happened really fast. But there was glue all underneath, all kinds of areas underneath there, leaving an area so water can move out towards the front and out. Here you see me putting on kerf weather stripping for the doors. This turned out to be too thick. My doors are pretty tight, so I ended up not being able to close the door or even open it once it was shut. I actually, I could slam it and make it work. But yeah, there you see me playing with it. I ended up taking the weather strip off and buying some other type of weather strip and making it work. Here I'm using the same sealer I did for the windows. Works fantastic, and it does the trick.
Hey guys, Derrek here in Blueberry Hill. So here we are, July 20th. Just doing a couple things. So I had a bit of a failure yesterday with the weather stripping on the doors. You might have seen my time lapse of that a little bit, and then I quit. Let me show you what I was doing. I was using kerf versions of weather strip, which in all essence measure up perfectly well. They fit into the slots I made on the door sills and all that. The bad part is the doors are too tight. So once I put them in, it was really hard to shut the doors. So I'm using something else today. I'm gonna try, I ordered it yesterday. It was a one-day delivery from Amazon. It's a silicone product, so it's a little softer. It came in a box, so it's all dorked up, but it's a very tight weather seal, and this will work actually extremely well. The bad part is it doesn't go into a kerf. It's a stick-on product. We'll see how it goes. You saw me painting the door sills for the kerf inserts. I'm not going to use them. Just too hard to shut the door. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. The other thing, I fired up the AC today, and yay, it's nice in here. It's 80 degrees. I turned it on when it was 90, 91. Here's my thermostat showing 80 right now. It's been running for a couple of, almost 2.5 hours, I think. So it was 88, 90, 91 upstairs. And everything's showing about 81, 82 right now. Well, the hallway's showing 80. But here's the entryway showing 80, 81. We have 4 of these thermostats just to do all the zone controlling stuff. But anyway, it feels awesome in here. I think it's supposed to be harder than 2 today. Not in here, it ain't. So anyway, success. It feels good. I'm working on the island. I'm actually doing electrical. I'm going to show you that in a second here. I'm going to switch over to time lapse, but just to let you know, this is the last time the AC is going to be off. So the house is, I'll say 99.5% buttoned up, except for the weather stripping on the main doors. Oh, I did install the sill, the threshold, sorry, and woo, camera almost fell. And that worked really well. I'm missing a screw. Dang camera. I glued it, sealed it, and screwed it down to the concrete. You saw me doing a time lapse of that. What I did is put epoxy into the holes I drilled in the concrete. Then I tried to do the one in the garage, and didn't matter what I did with any drill bit I had, it would not go in. So I had to end up buying a hammer drill. I need 3 holes, but I used to have one and I broke it. And I just can't get through that concrete. I can't even get in like an 1/8 of an inch. So I've got that threshold waiting. I'll show you that when I'm doing it. And the tool should come tomorrow, and I bought some bits as well. So that should be done. I'll finish that up tomorrow, be able to seal the doors, then they'll be done, and the house should be nice and tight. Everything else is tight, all the windows are shut. I didn't actually go around and make sure they were locked shut, but whatever. Anyway, it's feeling great in here. And I'm sure with the foam insulation, it should kind of retain its coolness for a longer period of time. Generally, overnight, it's nice in here, but of course, it's been 102, 105 in the Texas area the last few weeks, so no break in sight. So it's awesome to have the AC running. So big shout out to James Wilson for helping me out on that. That was fantastic. He basically orchestrated the whole setup. and I installed it. You know, taking probably what, 6 weeks or 2 months almost for me to do the work, and his boys to do the install of the handlers and the AC units. You saw that on other videos. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. We're gonna flip the time lapse, and I'll show you installing the electrical into the island. Where the sink is gonna be. I just put that plug in. You know, it's the same thing as doing wall plugs. I was trying some finishes on the oak. We're going to use I'm switching topics here. We're going to use the Rubio Monaco Pure. That's this one. This is the other one, and that actually looks like it's naked wood. Not a huge fan of that, but regardless. Anyway, that was just a test, just to let you know why you see weird colors on the island. Anyway, I'm going to put this down, switch over to time lapse, and continue with the electrical install on that part.
So I didn't show it to you guys, but I used the oscillating saw to cut these holes. This is actually a double stack of plywood, so it took a little longer to cut through here. But now I'm using some carbide tips, grinding tips that I bought a whole pack off Amazon. Extremely cheap. They work fantastic. But here I'm installing the box. I did have to, you know, the oscillating saw did a pretty good job, but then I had to clearance it a little bit because of the box itself. Once the box fits, it's just an install, just like any other. You see where I tried to go a little higher up on the, yeah, so I'm not sanding off the marks that I made with the pencil. I didn't realize there was a frame section in there when I did the first, you know, marks. But here you see me putting the electrical. I'm pigtailing off of the other socket you just saw, and this is going to be a double plug. Pretty straightforward. You see my way goes, shove it in there, and done. That took like 5 minutes. So very simple, very easy to do, and then just a wall plate and we're done. So as I'm putting this on, I go, hey, why don't I just put the sample pure Rubio Monocoat on there, and then I don't have to take the plate off later. Yeah, so there you go. Ta-da!
Well, there you have it, folks. That's pretty easy. This is the last outlet in the entire house that I have to do. So it's a done deal. You saw me put the Monocoat, Rubio Monocoat on there, just so I don't have to take this off again. So this is done. It'll dry. It actually feels really, really nice. It's very satiny, and it's a one application, does all. Apparently, I can use about 1 gallon, less than 1 gallon for the entire house, which is going to be fantastic. It's very expensive. This is a sample, and it was $10. So just to let you know, probably packaging, you know, whatever. We did try one that's called 5% Smoke, and ended up being almost this color, which is raw white oak. I'm more into and so is Angie, into this color, so that's what we're going with. That's kind of our entire furniture setup as well. Anyway, that's it for that. The island's done, at least wiring wise. I have to wait for the sink installed to finish the plumbing, just so I know where all the height, all the stuff is appropriate for the Chicago loop that I have to put in there. I could probably no, I can't really do it because I have to make sure I'm at the right height, and I don't want to jeopardize that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Later.
This is July 21st, so here I'm going to start doing the baseboard install. Like the messages said, I kind of late on the game in ordering the doors. I'm not sure why I waited this long. Then it turns out everything's going to be delayed 6 to 7 weeks. I had no clue it was still an issue, but apparently it still is. Anyway, the process is the same. I actually cut beveled ends on all the boards I install. That way everything's nice and flush. It actually holds everything is held together real nice. Just measure up. The boards come 8 foot long. You saw Angie and I. We actually painted them. I didn't shoot video of that, but I'll shoot video the next set I'll paint. And then basically it's just a measure on the inside of the cuts, etc., to make sure the angles are all nice and tight. And I'll do a little bit of caulking around the corners, etc., and then might put a bead along the wall. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. I actually like it untouched, but since we have to do the corners, it kind of makes sense to do the walls too. But anyway, you see me doing whatever areas I could get to without messing up the door areas. Since I don't have the doors, won't get them for a while, I can't actually put trim to the door, so gotta wait. So this is July 23rd, it's a Saturday. So I'm getting ready to paint the rest of the baseboards. I did it outside on a horsey. Used the hrs-sh X19 Pro setup, works great. and then I'm carrying them in the garage to let them dry in there. But anyway, this is it for this video. I'm gonna flip over. It's getting long here, so I'm gonna make the next video with the rest of the stuff I'm working on, and we'll go from there. Anyway, here's the staging you see in the garage for the baseboards for drying, and we should be good to go. Anyway, appreciate you watching. We'll talk at you later. Ciao.